So let me get this straight. The man was on doctor's prescribed ketamine infusions. He was on recreational ketamine on which he overdosed. He was on anti-diabetic medication. He was on painkillers. He was on an SERM and God knows what other drugs. And on top of that, he was on 2 packs of smokes per day. But it's the TRT that made him mean and aggressive. What's up folks, it's Uranus, we're in Brussels, welcome to another video. So as you probably already heard, quite recently Mathew Perry, known for his role as Chandler in Friends, unfortunately passed away and was found dead in his jacuzzi. Well, details have now emerged from his autopsy report and it turns out that Mathew Perry was on TRT or testosterone replacement therapy. It also turns out he wasn't as clean as we thought he was, as a significant amount of ketamine was found in his body, and unfortunately there were a lot of other pills and a bunch of other stuff that were found in his $6 million home. Yet testosterone replacement therapy gets the bad reputation here, and pretty much all of the articles I've read about his autopsy report states that in his final days he was aggressive and mean due to his testosterone replacement therapy. That's quite infuriating. Now let's dive a little bit deeper. C'est parti! It's a well-known fact that opioid addiction can completely wreck your natural hormonal production. Opioids basically include a very large number of drugs, going from morphine to oxy to painkillers like Vicodin to freaking heroin. Now opioids will completely destroy or disrupt your HPTA and your natural testosterone production. Now low testosterone is probably one of the milder side effects of these freaking drugs, because from the research that I've done, the physical dependency is actually insane. Now Mathew Perry has unfortunately been an opioid addict for pretty much most of his life, from his friend's acting day to presumably now. So it's not a surprise to me that he was on doctor prescribed testosterone replacement therapy. His natural production must have been pretty close to zero. I'm active on a lot of testosterone subs, pretty much on Reddit and so on, and it's really quite common from recovering addicts to come here and ask information about testosterone replacement therapy because their own production is not working. And if you're recovering from a drug addiction, it's going to be really important that your hormones are where they should be, because otherwise it's going to make the task even more difficult. And I would much rather see someone being prescribed TRT than antidepressants and or SSRIs. However, let's look at some news articles talking about Mathew Perry's autopsy report. Now this one is from the Mirror. Mathew Perry's autopsy report paints a grim picture of the final days of the actor's life. No shit guys, watching Friends is probably never going to be the same after this. The document revealed how a female friend had stated that he had become angry and mean in the weeks leading up to his death due to testosterone shots he was taking. Now what a pile of fresh donkey shit this is. I really wonder how much that supposedly close friend was paid to say this, because it's pretty much appearing in every single article talking about his autopsy report. The report also detailed how Mathew had a lethal amount of ketamine in his body, as well as buprenorphine, which is used to ease pain and help with addiction to opioids. Now we're getting to the truth guys, let's continue. The medical examiner's report obtained by the Mirror detailed the extent of Mathew's reliance on both over-the-counter and prescription drugs to get by in life. It states, in the assistant's bedroom there were multiple open, empty, half-filled medication bottles prescribed to the decedent, as well as over-the-counter medications, vitamins, digestive aids, and dishes filled with multiple various loose pills, tablets, candy, and bread mints. Now, I'm not surprised reading this, because honestly, if you look at pictures of what the man was looking like these past years, it's honestly not that surprising. Now let's finish the paragraph from the Mirror. It also describes how in Mathew's bedroom there were prescribed ointments, digestive aids, and oral rinses. Mathew has been having ketamine infusions treatments regularly prior to passing away. However, the report claimed that the ketamine in his body had come from somewhere else and was not part of the treatment. That's the ketamine he overdosed on, by the way. So let me get this straight. The man was on doctor's prescribed ketamine infusions. He was on recreational ketamine on which he overdosed. He was on anti-diabetic medication. He was on painkillers. He was on an SERM and God knows what other drugs, and on top of that he was on 2 packs of smokes per day, but it's the TRT that made him mean and aggressive in his final days. Come on, that's pretty much freaking nonsense. TRT was probably the only good thing for him in that freaking house. Taken in correct and responsible dosages, testosterone replacement therapy will do exactly the opposite as making you mean and angry. You are replacing what your body is no longer producing. I don't think Mathew Perry had any bodybuilding plans. After living with low testosterone for years, trust me, you take TRT is going to have a really positive effect on your mood and energy. It's going to be much better. Testosterone is essential for the well-being of a man. If you're getting mean and aggressive because of your TRT, it's because your protocol is off, or you were already an asshole before taking the treatment. The truth is that he probably was never clean, and I thought he had really made it out because like 2 years ago he published his book and all of that, and the man was well known for his work into helping other people into rehabilitation and so on. He was a spokesperson for rehab. The man actually went to the freaking White House in 2013 and received an award for his support into rehabilitation. There had been so much talk about his redemption, but it probably was just all freaking marketing. It's really sad because some guys actually really make it out of that hole of freaking addiction. Look at Steve-O from Jackass. Look up his story. The guy was a massive addict and he was on a one-way ticket to freaking hell. Yet somehow he's making it to 15 years sober right now. And if you compare both actors, there's only 5 years difference between the two, right? It doesn't take a lot of time when you look at the pictures to see who is clean and who actually wasn't. Addiction is a raging bitch, and for me it's a personal topic because I've seen with my own eyes how far it can go and how far addicts will actually go to protect their addiction to these drugs. But saying nonsense about a medical treatment that is helping hundreds of thousands of men all around the world is simply just not okay. I really hate it when TRT gets the blame for something, because I think done responsibly and properly, I think it's one of the safest treatments available out there, and I really think for people like me it can be a lifesaver, and maybe for people like you watching me. We need to stop the stigma, the stereotypes and the misconceptions about testosterone replacement therapy. And I see this in my own world too, even with educated people. When I tell people I inject testosterone into my leg twice per week, they're already looking at me like that, like, ah, you're one of those, one with the freaking needles, you know. Why is it morally accepted that the man that had a shitty lifestyle for his entire life, that drank like a bottomless pit, that smoked and that ate like shit ends up on insulin? That is completely accepted. But then a man that gets on testosterone replacement therapy, ooh no, that's dangerous, you know. You're at risk of heart attack, of strokes, and you're gonna end up in a jacuzzi high on freaking ketamine. Of course, articles like these and the general media coverage isn't helping. Mathew Perry's final days were a mix of nicotine lollipops, ketamine and testosterone shots that left him angry and mean. I mean, when you're reading this garbage, you're almost thinking that TRT is in the same category as crack or freaking fentanyl. His final days were a mix of testosterone shots. What the hell is that garbage, you know? Look, if you don't believe me, this is an extract coming from the study available on the National Library of Medicine. Testosterone plays a pivotal role in maintaining balance within the multidimensional psychological network of mood, behavior, self-perception, and perceived quality of life in men of any age. I can guarantee you, of all the drugs that this man put in his body, I guarantee you that TRT had the least negative side effects and was actually beneficial for his mood. The only topic I didn't cover about his autopsy report, and is quite interesting, is that Mathew Perry was on tamoxifen. Now, tamoxifen is an SERM, or a selective estrogen receptor modulator. Usually it is prescribed to women that have breast cancer. Now, in men it's also used, but it's mostly used by anabolic steroid users that want to reactivate their own hormonal production after doing a cycle of steroids. But then you don't take it alongside TRT. Or it can also be used to treat gynecomastia, or the enlargement of breast tissue in the men. Now, according to his close ones, again, tamoxifen was being used as a weight loss drug. So again, we got a problem here. People do not know what the fuck they are talking about. Alright, now I want to know what you guys think about this story. Was Mathew Perry mean and aggressive in his final days because of TRT? Maybe it's because of the TRT that he was actually on recreational ketamine. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Kindly do the YouTube things, like, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one. Uranus out.